Good morning, good afternoon, good midday, good middle of the night, I feel you. Everybody, my name is Michele. Welcome to Yggdrasil, my nymphs. Yeah, still remembering my intro, you guys. I'm gonna be talking about survival mode today because I feel like it's a thing that a lot of people don't know about, but survival mode is something that people with trauma experience a lot. Some people more than others, because some people spend years in survival mode and some people spend, a week or a day, in survival mode. Okay, so quick update. I saw my first tarantula, and I also think I saw a black widow. It was a blonde tarantula. It was right by my house. I was taking a walk by my house. Like, it wasn't right by my... Anyways, make sure to give this video a like, thumbs up, which is the same thing, subscribe, and comment down below if you have ever experienced this and if you can tell the difference, or can you tell the difference now? If you've never heard of survival mode, it's more or less when your phone is on battery saving mode and it's like, I don't care about like colors and lights or anything. I care about the basics here, and that's like humans experiencing survival mode. Have you been living too long in survival mode? Survival mode is the short-term, fear-based mode of thinking you enter when your fight or flight response is triggered. It's the poisonous mentality that leads you to attack or retreat during stressful times rather than communicate and embrace. In survival mode, you spend so much time focusing on the danger that you miss out on opportunities. You spend so much time cursing the bad things that happen that you will miss the important lessons that were designed to teach and end up going through similar experiences over time until you reflect carefully. Survival mode shuts off the part of you that takes risks, uses your imagination, and goes with the flow, and instead directs all that precious energy to a part that plays it safe, holds on to regret and resentment, and often depends on control. It's fine to go into this state if you're standing in front of a hungry mountain lion, but living in survival mode on a daily basis will exact a terrible toll on your mind, body, and spirit over time. So this often happens with people who have had trauma or are experiencing something depressing in their life, or they have like a comorbid disorder that makes you depressed. What may it be? This is essentially like a brain overload. The reason that you develop trauma and then go into survival mode at times is because you had to respond quickly to something and it was so traumatic, such as losing somebody or going through a natural disaster or going through abuse of any kind. Your brain has a tendency to avoid the trauma at any costs, and that includes the dishes, your homework, making your bed, taking a shower. You know what I mean? It's basically like being depressed, except for basically your body is just like, I'm gonna die, so here's what we're gonna do. Survival mode, it might be natural for you to have also experienced being lazy, because I'm a human being, you're a human being, I think. I don't know, probably, and I would hope so. And I have chosen to be lazy at times, you know what I mean? I don't want to do this. But there's other times where it seems almost out of grasp or impossible, and don't feel crazy if it's difficult to tell the difference. Because a lot of the time your family members, I always used to get this with my mom and dad, that you're not trying hard enough. And I feel like at the time I was absolutely not capable of doing more than breathing. Number one is dissociation of all kinds. So dissociation can range from zoning out and having a daydream to zoning out for fucking days and days and days, but it could also just be a lack of focus. The way a lot of people explain dissociation, and I'm going to explain it right now, is when you're reading a book, right, and then all of a sudden you're like, wait, what the fuck happened in the past fucking chapter? And then you realize that you've just been reading it, and it's like, why was I even reading it? Your brain just continues going on. Dissociation is a mental process where a person disconnects from their thoughts, feelings, memories, or sense of identity. Dissociative disorder disorders include dissociative amnesia, dissociative fugue, depersonalization disorder, dissociative identity disorder, and otherwise specified dissociative disorder. People who experience a traumatic event will often have some degree of dissociation during the event itself or in the following hours, days, or weeks. For example, the event seems unreal or the person feels detached from what's going on around them as if they're watching a television. In most cases, dissociation resolves without the need of treatment. For some, however, they develop a dissociative disorder that requires treatment. Dissociative disorders are controversial and complex problems that need specific diagnosis, treatment, and support. If you are concerned that you or a loved one may have a dissociative disorder, it is important to seek a professional for help. Just a few symptoms are feeling disconnected from yourself, problems handling intense emotions, sudden and unexpected shifts in mood, for example, feeling very sad for no reason, depression or anxiety problems, or both, feeling as though the world is distorted or not real, otherwise known as derealization, memory problems that aren't linked to physical injury or medical conditions, other cognitive, thought-related problems such as concentration problems, significant memory lapses such as forgetting important personal information, feeling compelled to behave in a certain way, identity confusion. For example, behaving in a way that a person would normally find offensive or abhorrent.
Taketones.com.
When you're in survival mode, you might be checked out a lot of the time, basically. You can't really hear the others around you, you don't really, notice things going on around you, you don't understand social cues. If you're a student or have a job, or do anything, you just can't quite focus on it. And you try, but you keep falling off. And I'm sure all y'all know what I'm talking about. It's like in fight or flight mode. It's okay, texting people to let them know I'm okay just is not even a thought sometimes. Sometimes it is a thought and it's I cannot even imagine myself doing something like that. But then sometimes it's subconscious. Forgetting basic needs, not being able to remember a lot of things, such as I always I always forget when I did or didn't brush my teeth. You forget to eat. You forget to do everyday things that you always do, and you actually have to make a mental thought of it because your brain is in such shutdown mode, and it's you need to just go to sleep right now or something because I can't even deal with this much anxiety. You feel tired all the time, and if you've experienced this, it's sort of even if you just woke up, you're tired. Even if you took a nap, you're tired. Even if you've been up all day, you're tired. And it's sort of this continual tiredness rather than being actually tired. So your brain is getting ready for this extremely traumatic event to happen because that's how survival mode works. So basically your brain is preparing for this traumatic event again, and it's you need to rest up, or that you're going through this traumatic event and you're so fucking exhausted through all of the emotions that you're going through, although a lot of the times when you think that you're being lazy, you're not having emotions, you just think that you're lazy. Sometimes this can also happen emotionally or socially. People will be able to notice that you are sort of lagging, or you can have bigger reactions than normal. And it's hard to explain because people will experience survival mode completely different to the next person, but sometimes it can just drift one thing to another. You could be super emotionally charged and then you're so exhausted from that you're dead, for lack of better words. So if you lash out at people that you've never, or you typically don't, especially if there's someone who slightly gets under your skin all the time and you always just deal with it. But it's kind of when you get drunk and just admit everything to everyone, and sometimes you're an emotional drunk, or if you've never drinking before or not a crazy drinker like I am. I don't know why I always turn crazy. It'd be like that. you could start crying for almost no reason, or literally no reason. Like, girl, that happened all the time. Like, a lot of the time, I'm sure people with related trauma can relate to this, but I feel like just like cry about nothing or replay literally every single bad thing or every single bad thing that I can remember has been done to me over and over and over. So your brain isn't even able to save data. Another sort of part of dissociation, or a completely separate thing, would be feeling disconnected and foggy. And even to simple things, like I went to the pharmacy the other day and they asked me my birthday and I hesitated. The reason I laugh is so I don't cry, and I don't want anyone to think that it's like I'm joking about it, because let's be honest, a lot of people have worse experiences than me, and that's okay. That doesn't make me invalid, but I don't want you to think that I'm laughing at your debilitating mental illness, if that makes any sense to you. Getting a hold of you or someone trying to communicate with you, like if someone stops you in the hallway at school, you might like be like, what is even going on? Like, it might take you a minute to like even realize that someone's talking to you, and then like you can forget. And a lot of the time, getting like tip of your tongue situations, your brain is like just basically a fog. When I die, I want God to tell me if my memory problems come from trauma or learning disability, because I would genuinely like to know. Some things that I talked about with my therapist, like in a way, like your past is your past and you can't change it, and what happened to you could not have not happened to you, and such. If you do still have to work, like almost all of us do when we get depressed, when I worked for Uber Eats, it was like so amazing, because like I went through a 1 week depressive episode, or I'm busy with college or something, and so I don't have to work for 1 week, or then I could work a 40-hour or 50-hour week, but the longest week I've ever done was 40 hours, and like I don't know how you full-time job people do it. Like, bless you. I'm gonna have to hit that up soon. So if you have to do something, you can only do it one step at a time. You'll probably forget about what you're supposed to do a lot. You'll probably zone out a lot. Maybe it's because you're lazy and you want to play video games. And it's hard to tell, honestly, because it sounds so obvious, but like a lot of the times we can't really even tell when we're depressed. I don't know. Comment below if you can tell when you're depressed. I have to fucking get out of bed, and then you have to think to yourself, okay, I have to take a shower. Do I need to take a shower? Do I need to get dressed in these clothes? Like, your brain is desperately trying to avoid the situation, and you could think that you're just lazy because you don't want to go to fucking work, you know what I mean? Or school, especially high school, or if you're in middle school. I don't even have anything to say. Like, if you think that you're in survival mode right now, it could be a possibility that you've been in survival mode for a long time. And therapy, sometimes medications help because they help you to, like with me with Adderall, trying for my ADHD for the first time is in adult years, I don't need to take Adderall as much because I know now how to function as a human without ADHD symptoms, if that makes any sense. And it could be similar for you, like mushrooms. Like, it's like when it's like a hallucinogenic experience. I'm just kidding, but I do have a theory, you guys. Oxygen is actually a hallucinogen, and hallucinogens are actually oxygen, so you're seeing it for the way that it really is. Something that I just can't express enough to you is it's okay. It's okay to even be lazy, you know, like, and it's more than okay to be on your fight or flight risk, because you cannot help that whatsoever. And being lazy sometimes is absolutely fine, because you need to be nice to yourself. And that is something that I believe everyone watching this video is not fucking doing. Like, you need to be nice to yourself as though you were talking to another person. Like, I know you're not doing that. So next time you're feeling lazy, try to think about whether you're actually being lazy, and if you aren't, express self-care, reach out to someone, because sitting in that uncomfortable spot, I know it feels like you cannot do anything, but once you get the chance to even breathe, get help, because you won't get better. It'll just happen over and over again. So comment down below if you've ever experienced this, and if you have, can you explain the difference better than I did? Please, in the comments. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, turn the bell on if you're feeling frisky. Thank you so much for watching this video, and goodbye.